time to anti-cat nebula under supernovas energy nebula.
Anthropocene, from the Greek anthropos, meaning human, and kainos, recent. It's a term that denotes a new geological epoch, replacing the hitherto Holocene, or most recent. And it's called Anthropocene because of the unprecedented changes that human beings are making to this planet and its atmosphere that will leave a geological record at least for a few million years. Now, some might say it's absurd, even arrogant, to use such a grandiose term as epoch to denote humanity's time here on Earth. The whole of human existence in the vastness of deep time is just an event, a blip that will fade to a mere whisper of isotopes, vaguely indicating some planetary disturbance, some anomaly that a few years from hence, some visiting a few million years from hence, some visiting alien might pause, ponder over for a while, and then move on. No matter, it's quite clear that for a few million years at least, maybe even 100 million, there will be some record in the rocks. A reminder of humanity's glorious, tawdry, destructive, creative, inquisitive and imaginative time here on this planet. Now, admittedly, single-celled cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, they caused great changes to the planet when they started photosynthesizing. They produced vast quantities of oxygen, and you can still find those remnants in rusty red bands of rock in parts of the Earth. But it took a long time, a whole boring billion years, for multi-celled organisms to appear on the scene after that. Life was not in a hurry, not at all. But humans, we've only been here for the blink of an eye, geologically speaking. And yet already we've caused planetary changes equivalent to the movement of tectonic plates. We shift more soil, rock and sediment each year than any combination of planetary resources. Any combination of planetary natural processes. We've already chucked billions of tons of globally heating gases into the atmosphere, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. And just in case you were wondering, the total amount of concrete ever produced would cover the entire surface of the Earth with a layer 2 millimeters thick. Question is, when did it all start? Was it the very first humans making their way over the Earth, fighting for survival, heralding the beginning of the mass extinctions of megafauna? Was it the descendants of those early humans, the first farmers who started cutting down trees to plant animals and crops, tamed to plant crops and tamed animals, and domesticated them, needing ever more land for grazing? Was it when the first human being stole from another by force? Was it when the first early explorers colonised and laid waste to other lands, murdering and enslaving the inhabitants who'd lived there, more or less in harmony with the surroundings, for a few thousand years? Was it the European Industrial Revolution, spewing out smoke and steam, polluting water, air and land, and making a few people rich while the rest got poorer? Was it rampant colonialism, using firepower, the Maxim gun and the Gatling gun, to plunder resources all over the world and enslave and dispossess people? Was it Edward Midgley boiling up chemicals to produce plastic because he had a vision of brightly coloured toys with round edges that would be safe for children to play with? Was it the dropping of the first nuclear bomb and the radioactive fallout? Is it consumer capitalism that tells modern humans that all of the earth and all of life, our dreams, our bodies, our imagination, our inventions, are simply commodities to be bought and sold? Is it our exponential growth as we occupy more and more space previously inhabited by other creatures and continue to drive so many living beings to extinction or its brink? Just to get things in perspective, the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, getting middle-aged or a bit past it now. First signs of life appeared about 4 billion years ago, single-celled life, and algae started photosynthesizing between 2.5 and 3 billion years ago. Multicelled organisms appear a little less than 2 billion years ago. Then in the last 70 to 80 million years, there was the great explosion of animals and plants that led, after a few events or blips, such as the rise and fall of the dinosaurs and some rather nasty extinctions, to the earliest human beings about 200,000 years ago, after millions of years of evolution. Millions, 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 and millions.
Millions, millions and millions of years. Millions, millions and millions. Stars converging on millions of millions. Millions to millions. Millions to millions. Coalescing, creating, evolving in new temporary forms.
Not so great to be at the top of the tree. The apex predator can sometimes feel a bit insecure. Haven't got claws, haven't got fur, can't survive extremes of weather or go for months without food or water. It's an awkward place to be at the top of the tree, relying on technology to keep us where we want to be, or where we think we want to be. But who or what do we want to be? The top of the tree is a tree you could only fall off. Woolly mammoth, bison, and dear old dodo, they all had to go. When Homo sapiens came with his spear and his knife and his gun, oh, it was all such fun. But the top of the tree is a lonely place to be when you've killed off all the family and you're left without any company, perched in isolation. The old world order is gone and you're a victim of self-domestication. The top of the tree is a perilous place to be. There's only one way to go. From the top of the tree you can only fall off. Forces of nature. Forces of nature got to be controlled. Got to control. Got to control.
Forces of nature. Forces of control. Forces of nature. Controls of nature. Control. Forces of nature. Down. Forces of nature. Forces of nature. Controls of nature. Controls. Slave. Down. Domesticate. Use. Slave. Make money. Take. Domesticate. Control, progress, use, slave, make money, take, control, down, forces of progress, progress, slave, keep down, forces of nature,
You can't tame a zebra. You can't tame a zebra. It will turn its head, twist and bite, confuse you with its stripes. You can't tame a zebra. But if it's progress you're after, you might hear a zebra's laughter. You may log out all the trees and overfish the seas, but you can't tame a zebra. You might have carved out the planet and regretted that you'd done it, but you never tamed a zebra. However much you manipulate, there are some animals you just can't domesticate. You may curse and swear, force dancing on a bear, turn wolves into lapdogs, fatten all the hedgehogs, make cows produce more milk, or spiders spin more silk. But you can't tame a zebra. Does self-domestication mean self-oppression? Do humans naturally submit to ruling classes, gender discrimination, leaders and followers? Are we packs, tribes, flocks? Are some atoms more important than others? Helium and hydrogen, the first ones to emerge from the Big Bang, are they the stars? Hierarchy. 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 If you're at the bottom, it's misery. Can't get a mate, can't have kids, left out, cold and hungry. It's tough at the bottom for a monkey. But staying at the top isn't easy. Can't relax, have to keep alert, in a state of nervous anxiety, as you're always on the lookout for an enemy, as you grab the food and take the space. At any moment, someone else may take your place. hierarchy, hierarchy. But maybe there is such a thing as empathy, friendship, solidarity, running back to help the weak, protecting babies. Snuggle, not struggle. If an ant gets trapped in a fallen tunnel, its mates will run to its call of distress, dig it out and take it back to the nest. And apes can act altruistically. They don't always favour brutality. Two wielding monkeys, you and me, evolution's on our side. Mutual aid, cooperation, coexistence, co-adaptation, it's all a possible way to go. So it's up to us. Through cultural transmission, we can evolve ethics instead of competition. This thin skin that we live in, only 10 miles high, contains all of the life we know, spinning, spinning through space. This is the only home we know. This is the only earth we have. We share with every creature and every plant. Where will we go if they go? Where will we go if they go? This fragile layer of magic, glimmering with life, contains all of the plants we know. Every creature we know, spinning, spinning through space. Where will we go if they go? Where will we go if they go? This thin skin that we live in, only 10 miles high, contains all of the life we know. Every creature and every plant, every shimmering filament, every delicate strand in this thin skin. This thin skin, spinning, 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 spinning through space. Now, there are in fact many more arthropods than vertebrates living on this planet, and they're very successful creatures, probably due to the excellent design of their body parts. Basically, with a wonderful exoskeleton, the hard outer layer that keeps in all the squishy bits. In fact, they're so great exoskeletons that in Japan, people have been equipped, older people, with artificial exoskeletons so they can work right into old age, lifting and moving heavy objects. Well, the real thing's so much better. With an exoskeleton, it encloses the soft body parts of even the tiniest of creatures, enabling them to occupy a multitude of habitats in air, on land, and in water. They can be spotted, striped, glittering, gorgeous, or camouflaged on a twig. And along with the exoskeleton, arthropods have a head, thorax, abdomen, 6-jointed legs, wings if you're an insect, and antennae. Oh, antennae. Wouldn't it be great to have antennae? We wouldn't need mobile phones or Zoom or YouTube. With antennae, you can pick up a cacophony of chemical choruses. You're sensitive to the slightest vibration and open to a symphony of sensation. Arthropods are a wonder of evolution, a hugely successful design, and there are billions more of them on Earth than there are of vertebrates. But the snobbery of vertebrates, it just takes your breath away. All those pandas and polar bears hogging the limelight. Whilst meantime humans swap flies. And most people know about lobsters from reading seafood menus. I mean, how many mammals can walk across a ceiling? And don't we obsess about metamorphosis? Aren't we fascinated by the ability of a caterpillar to go into a pupa and break down and emerge as a butterfly? We boring butterflies just get bigger and older and, well, that's it, really. We can't physically break down and remake ourselves. I invite you to join the Arthropod Friendship Association. Its constitution is thus. Aims and objectives. 1. To break down the barriers to understanding between arthropods and vertebrates and create new relationships. This includes examining and reducing both irrational and justifiable vertebrate fears of, for example, being poisoned, infected with life-threatening diseases, or losing food supplies. 2. Explore the differences between approaching the world with an exoskeleton or an internal bone skeletal structure. 3. Educate in order to reduce current inequalities where a few powerful vertebrates control the lives of millions of arthropods. 4. Acknowledge that most arthropods have been on the earth for many millions of years longer than vertebrates. They deserve respect. And so here comes the complaint of the cockroach. You despise us, criticize us, try to paralyze us, call us vermin or want to wipe us out. You say there's too many of us, but we'd like to know, why is it us that have to go? You're doubling your species every day. Who's gonna drive you lot away? You're stealing the earth, the sea and the air, and we say that's not fair. There's too many of you, don't you see? You've already exceeded the earth capacity. You're a plague and a crisis, you're out of all proportion. When will you learn to exercise some caution? It isn't just you, it's your shopping and machines, your industrial chemicals that you think make you clean. Everywhere you go you leave a trail of destruction, chaos and poison from your mass production. You're the single biggest ecological disaster, yet you keep multiplying faster and faster with your houses, cars and pets and your families that grow. Where the rest of us meant to go. You make agriculture deserts where the rest of us can't thrive. You think it's the only way to stay alive. But how will you survive here on your own? It'll be a lonely planet when we've all gone. But when it comes to survival, we've got the edge on you. There's no catastrophe we won't be able to get through. When your world collapses and you realise it's the end, then you may wish you'd been a better friend to the rest of us who crawl or fly, tunnel underground or buzz through the sky. The creatures you call pests and a waste of space, you may finally recognise we all have our place. But it'll be too late if you don't work out how you can share the earth with the rest of us here. Realise your mistakes. You've got to stop reproducing. Isn't that clear? You despise us, criticise us, try to paralyse us, call us vermin, want to wipe us out. You say there's too many of us, but we'd like to know which one of us will be the first to go. And there's so many more arthropods out there. Unloved ones as well. I mean, humans are a bit funny about, for example, mosquitoes as well as cockroaches. Consider the plight of the Arctic mosquito. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, searching for food in a barren landscape. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, hunting for blood to nourish my eggs. Flying around on my slender wings, desperately searching for prey. My only goal, to lay my eggs before death takes me away. Hated and feared by humankind because of the diseases I bear. They try to destroy me, forgetting that I am food for others to share. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, searching for food in a barren landscape. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, hunting for blood to nourish my eggs. As the ice caps melt and the permafrost dissolves, there'll be more stagnant ponds where we can thrive. We exist to explore every possible niche. Like all creatures, we aim to survive. We can bring down an army, destroy a city, though we are fragile and small. As the nectar of warm mammal blood flows through us, we'll watch your civilization fall. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, searching for food in a barren landscape. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, hunting for blood to nourish my eggs. Now, we may find kinds of insects a bit of a pain, but They do us a lot of services. Now, I wonder how many of you like chocolate, for example. We wouldn't have any chocolate at all if it weren't for a certain very small midge. Midges, well, they have a bad rap. You know, the Scottish midge, biting everything, making you itch, so on and so forth. And the midge that pollinates the cocoa plant is extremely small. And it is a wonder that it manages to pollinate at all, because it can't fly very far, it can't see very well, and the flower of the cocoa plant is very difficult to get into. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. Chocolate comes from the cocoa bean. Its flower is pollinated by a midge that's hardly seen. It's very, very small and it can't fly far. A lot of effort goes into a chocolate bar. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. The weather's changing and having effects on all forms of life, including insects. If you're small, it's hard to fly when storms are raging through the sky. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. Cocoa midges like damp and shade. They're not big fans of free trade. Plantations are too hot and dry. Wild forests are where they love to fly. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. However small a midge may be, it needs to eat like you and me. So don't begrudge the no-see-ums your blood. We need their pollination. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. So, we need them. But what about those animals that have no exoskeleton, no protective hard outer layer? Maybe they can get or make or borrow a shell if they're lucky. But soft-bodied animals are so vulnerable. And again, very unpopular with humans who have basically lowered them to the status of pest. It's hard to be an animal hated by so many humans. Now this is called the soliloquy of the slug. With no hard shell to protect you, no poisonous sting to defend you, just a soft sticky mass eating all the tender plants it can find, and leaving lots of empty holes behind. It's a difficult thing to be a slug when your home's on land that humans have dug, and they come after you with chemicals and salt and traps of beer, enough to make your tentacles quiver with fear. We're food for many creatures, including slow worms and hedgehogs. With our slime we can ward off irritating dogs. Our whole body is sensitive to smell and taste. We recycle all kinds of unpleasant, unwanted waste. It's a difficult thing to be a slug when your home's on land that humans have dug, and they come after you with chemicals and salt and traps of beer, enough to make your tentacles quiver with fear. We have about 27,000 teeth that we constantly renew. The copper in our blood turns it greenish blue. We conduct electricity, and the Earth's magnetic fields guide our way as we lay down our gleaming trails of slime over night and day. It's a difficult thing to be a slug when your home's on land that humans have dug, and they come after you with chemicals and salt and traps of beer, enough to make your tentacles quiver with fear. A scientist discovered our slime wards off the sun's UV rays, so now it's become fashionable. Slug cosmetics are all the rage. Do you have to make money from us all the time? Do you appreciate the poetry of us and our slime? It's a difficult thing to be a slug when your home's on land that humans have dug, and they come after you with chemicals and salt and traps of beer, enough to make your tentacles quiver with fear. It's hard to be an animal, hated by so many humans, with a whole industry devoted to our destruction. The number of slug pellets used here reaches into the billions, but we'd be happy if you just leave us some rotting vegetation. It's a difficult thing to be a slug when your home's on land that humans have dug, and they come after you with chemicals and salt and traps of beer, enough to make your tentacles quiver with fear. thousands of miles. down to nest. Don't abandon us, Swiss. We're all made of the same stuff, we all come from the stars, you and me and every tree, all emerged from hydrogen. Life on Earth is a precious thing, and now we're pretty sure that for billions of miles around in space, there isn't so much more. We're all made of the same stuff, we all come from the stars, you and me and every tree, all emerged from hydrogen. And though in the cosmic scheme of things, it's all temporary, don't you think that life on Earth is extraordinary? We're all made of the same stuff, we all come from the stars, you and me and every tree, all emerge from hydrogen. We'll try it again, please. Remember this when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Remember this when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. There'll be new ecological niches for lots of amazing new species, and though we won't be here to know, life will just keep on and grow. Remember this when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Remember this when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Life has come back after every mass extinction. We can't take the dubious distinction of causing its complete destruction. Life is a process under construction. Remember this when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Remember this when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Couldn't share the earth with the dinosaurs, wouldn't want to have fought any dino wars, but they got too big and they had to go. Once they were extinct, we mammals could grow. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. It's sad to think the earth will die too, billions of years after me and you. But a dying star gives birth to more. Infinity's an open door. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. This beautiful, precious, fragile earth is our inheritance from birth. How could we abuse it so? Let's cherish life and let it grow. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. We only have one single chance to join this particular cosmic dance. We only have one earth to share. It didn't come provided with a spare. So while we're here, let's dance the dance of life. We only have one chance. Love and share this precious earth, our inheritance from birth. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. So while we're here, let's dance the dance of life. We only have one chance. Love and share this precious earth, our inheritance from birth. Remember this, when we're all gone, life will just go on and on. So while we're here, let's dance the dance of life. We only have one chance. I'm going to leave you with the frogs. Thank you very much.